So what are some of the key health and safety considerations when choosing a solar installer?
Great question, Yudi. So your chosen installer should adhere to stringent health and safety protocols. This includes your equipment, making sure that they employ qualified staff, as well as comply with national and international safety standards. They should also conduct a thorough risk assessment and carry adequate insurance for both the employees as well as the installation.
Okay, and then what are some of those essential pointers to take note of when choosing the installer to go with?
Okay, so here are some essential pointers. So certification and licenses. You need to ensure that your installer has the correct certification and licenses to actually do the installation. Then the experience and references. Assess what the actual experience is of the installer. If you, for example, have a commercial property, you can't just have an installer who's only done household installations. Warranties and maintenance. That is something that the installer must offer. So if you don't get a warranty on your panels or your inverter or your batteries, that's a major issue. And then also the quality of the components. Confirm that they are using the highest quality. In terms of your solar panels, only tier 1 panels, it's the best of the best. And it's a lot of money you're taking out. You need to ensure that quality is up to standard. And then also the financial stability. You don't want to have an installation company or a EPC do a full installation for you, and then in a year, 2 years time, they disappear. Exactly. Where you're going to claim if something goes wrong. It's things like that. And then also a clear contract. I think, for us at Solar Energy Africa, with every single installation we do, we sign a full contract with our clients, which covers both ourselves and our clients. So those are really important, tips and steps to exactly.
And something that you mentioned, which I guess is the next question, is the risks that we face when we go with an unqualified installer. So in situations where someone just wants a quick job done and we don't do the necessary quality control, what are some of those risks that one faces?
So obviously hiring an unqualified installer, first of all, it's a safety risk, it's a fire risk. There can be massive legal issues as well. So non-compliance with regulations can result in fines and penalties as well. While poor installation is obviously a fire risk and other hazards. And then also in terms of the warranties on the equipment, they're not going to be paid out and they're going to be voided. The same with your insurance. If your insurance has you put in a claim for a solar system, but it's not qualified or compliant, then they're purely not going to pay out, and your house might burn down to the floor. So it's just
there's a lot that can go wrong.
Exactly.
And then speaking about the SSEG, right? So the small scale embedded generation application.
Yes.
Why is it very important for one to submit that and to make sure that they follow through with that application?
Yeah, so basically submitting a SSEG or small scale embedded generation application is very important. So people need to do that with every single installation. So that is for our municipalities, for our utility companies, as well as grid safety. They need to know exactly who's not using the grid at certain times. It's not to penalize you as the user. And I think in today's time, our country is very, very pro, adding solar to your house or to your business, because it also helps with the pressure on the grids. But it's also, you get incentives and rebates on that if you do it with your capital.
And then the role of the COC, so the Certificate of Income Compliance, in that context as well, why is it really important for the company as well, but also from a user or a client perspective? What's the value with it?
So basically your COC is to make sure that the electrical, I want to say reticulation of, let's say, your house, your business, your factory, is up to standard and is compliant, with all the health and safety requirements in that term. Then as soon as you make any modifications or additions to that original installation of the electricity, you need to give that client a supplementary COC. So with every single backup system that's being installed with, let's say it's a backup system in the sense of it's an inverter and a battery, there's no solar panels. And if there's solar panels added, all of that needs a supplementary COC that needs to be handed to the client, but also your original COC's number needs to be referenced on the supplementary. So all of that then gets submitted with the SACG to your municipality.
And then from a legal perspective now, who is legally viable or in the right position to sign off on solar installation?
So only certified and licensed electricians, along with qualified technicians possessing those correct certification and licenses, can legally sign off on a solar installation. And then in some cases, the regulatory authority approval may be required. And, for us at Solar Energy Africa, we've got PRNGs, that sign off on big commercial projects. And in those cases, you can't just have an electrician or a technician sign off on it because it's too complex.
Okay, and then in closing, so I'm fortunate to know you personally, off camera as well, and I know how important safety is and making sure that you follow these guidelines. Why is that so important to you, Simoné, from a company perspective?
So by following these guidelines, you can ensure the safety, reliability and legality of your system. And I think that also contributes to a sustainable and secure energy future. People who already might have a solar system or people who are thinking of installing one, obviously in terms of cost savings, need to really check that they tick all the boxes. The last thing you want is, you're putting in the system, you're so excited, but it's not legal, So I think it's just things that clients just need to think about.
Thank you. See you next time.
Joe, Yuri, thank you so much for your time and having a session with me. And stay safe and embrace the power of solar energy.